Yes, students. Today we start the permanent tissue in the plant. In last time we have done the meristematic tissue. In permanent tissue, the tissue that come from the meristematic tissue and do the particular function and mature, made of dead cells and that have lost the power of division, have a definite shape, size and function, and may be dead or living. The process by which cells arise from meristematic tissue and take up a permanent shape, size and function is called differentiation. This is very important definition. What is differentiation? You may note this question. The process by which cells arise from meristematic tissue and take up a permanent shape, size and function is called differentiation. So first of all, I want to tell you the types of the permanent tissue. Permanent tissue may be simple tissue and a complex tissue. Here, I want to tell you the what is difference in simple and complex permanent tissue. Simple tissue and compound tissue, these are mostly asked in the exams. Simple tissue, the tissue which is made up of one type of cell. The tissue which is made up of only one type of cell are called simple permanent tissue. The tissue which is made up of more than one type of cell are called complex permanent tissue. Simple tissue are parenchyma, collenchyma, and scalenchyma. And complex tissue are xylem and phloem. Complex tissue are xylem and phloem. Now you can understand the comparison between parenchyma, collenchyma, and the scalenchyma. Parenchyma living tissue, collenchyma living tissue, and scalenchyma is the dead tissue. Parenchyma, it is the basic, most simple packing tissue. It is the basic, most simple packing tissue that fill the space between the other tissue and is found in most abundant in the plant. Has a specialized undifferentiated cells with thin cell wall and made up of cellulose. Thin cell wall and made up of cellulose. Have large intercellular spaces as the cells are loosely packed. Cells have a nucleus, dense cytoplasm, and large vacuole. Cells have nucleus, dense cytoplasm, and large vacuole. Now the functions of the parenchyma tissue are provide support to plant, and parenchyma of stem and roots share the nutrient and waste and is also called storage parenchyma or the storage tissue. When it contains chloroplast, chlorophyll, and perform the function of photosynthesis, then it is called chlorenchyma. In aquatic plants, parenchyma has a large air spaces to provide buoyancy to the plants and help them for float and exchange of. It is called parenchyma. There is one marks question always asked in the exam. Name the tissue which is responsible for floating of the aquatic plants. You say parenchyma tissue. And then locations found in non-woody or soft part of the root, stem, and leaves, flower, and fruits. Parenchyma tissue की location क्या होगी? Found in non-woody or soft parts of the root, stem, leaves, flowers, and fruits. Then that you can see the transverse section of the and also make the diagram of the parenchyma tissue. After that, collenchyma tissue. This is also the living tissue or living cells. Cells are living, elongated, and irregularly thick at the corners. The cells of collenchyma tissue are irregularly, as shown in the diagram, irregularly thickened at the corner due to extra deposition of cellulose. Have a very less or no intercellular spaces. Cells have a nucleus, dense cytoplasm, and large vacuole. Provide flexibility and mechanical support to aerial parts of the plant, leaves, stems, and allow them to bend. Name the tissue which is responsible for bending of branch in the plant. You say collenchyma tissue. It is found in the leaf stalk, below the epidermis of leaves and stem, and also you can make the diagram of the collenchyma tissue. Then scalenchyma, it is dead cells, long, narrow, thick-walled cells. That is dead due to deposition of long, narrow, thick-walled cells due to deposition of lignin, a chemical substance which acts as a cement and hardens them. Such a cell walls are called lignified walls and have pits. Pits are the spaces which join the two cells. No intercellular space due to lignin deposition. Cells do not have a nucleus and cytoplasm, give rigidity and strength to the plant and make it hard and tough to bear the stress and strain. Make it hard and tough to bear the stress and Strange. Here one question, and name the tissue which is present in hard covering of seeds and nuts. So you say sclerenchyma tissue. Gives rigidity and strength to the plants and make it hard and tough to bear the stress and strains. It is found in the stem, around the vascular bundle, in the veins of leaves, ropes, mats made of jute, linen, and hemp, used in the textile hard cells like that of the walnut, husk of coconut, and seed coat, etc. These things are made up of sclerenchyma tissue. Here you can note down the some questions of this chapter. State the major difference between meristematic and permanent tissue. Name the three simple permanent tissues. State their location and functions. Differentiate between the three types of the simple permanent tissue on the basis of their cell wall. Which tissue is called packing tissue in plants? Which chemical is deposited at the corners of the cells of the collenchyma tissue? Intercellular species are absent in sclerenchyma. Why? Water hyacinth float on the water surface. Explain. Name the tissue that is dead and has no intercellular space. Name the tissue that make the husk of coconut. What is collenchyma? State its function. How simple permanent tissue are different from complex permanent tissue. Draw the neat label diagram of transverse and longitudinal section of simple permanent tissue. Branches of tree move and bend freely. Explain. Due to the presence of the collenchyma tissue. After that come the epidermis. The leaves have upper and lower epidermis. You can do these activities. You can make the slide from the lower epidermis of the leaf, and after the put the safranin on it, and you will see under object a small structure is seen that is known as stomata. Stomata are the small opening pores present on the leaves of the, and then the sideways are the guard cells. And what are the functions of the stomata? They help in their two main functions, transpiration and exchange of gases. Transpiration means evaporation of water from the aerial part of the plant is called transpiration. Evaporation of the water from the aerial part of the, here you can comparison the structure and function. Layers of the cells covering the surface of entire plant act as a barrier to microorganisms. Thin and transparency allow the light to pass on it. Epidermis tissue have a tiny hair projecting from surface of epidermis. Leaf trichome trap water to prevent water loss. Root hairs are elongation of epidermal cells in the root. Root hairs increase the surface area for absorption of water from the soil. Epidermal tissue in leaves are covered with a waxy cuticle. The waxy cuticle prevent water loss from leaves. Some epidermal cells create poisonous or bad tasting substances. The bitter taste of the substances prevent the grazing by animals. Grazing by animals. And then from the upper dermis of the, now you can do the activity of the stomata also and make this slide. And after that comes the complex tissue. The complex tissue are the tissue which is made up of more than one type of cell. Made of more than one type of cells that have a common origin and work together to do a common function. Present in complex plant and help a plant to survive in terrestrial environment. Transport water. Functions of the complex tissue are transport water, mineral, and food to all parts of the plant. Complex tissue are of two types, xylem and phloem. Here I also want to tell you the main components of the xylem. Xylem trachea, vessel, xylem parenchyma, xylem sclerenchyma, and phloem sieve tube, companion cell, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Both the conducting tissue, xylem and phloem, are called vascular tissues and together form the vascular bundles. What are vascular bundles? Xylem plus phloem form the vascular bundles. That form the vascular bundle. Now we discuss the xylem and phloem. Complex permanent tissue are xylem cells have a thick wall. Elements are trachea, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem sclerenchyma. Vessels are most important element and are shorter and wider than the tracheae. Vessels and tracheae have a tube-like structure that help in transporting water. Xylem parenchyma store food and help in lateral conduction of water. In addition to transporting water and mineral salt from roots to leaves, xylem have a unidirectional movement from roots to leaves. And phloem sieve tubes are Tube-like structures, elements are sieve tube, companion cell, phloem, parenchyma, and phloem fiber. The end walls are called sieve plates and perforated due to presence of pores. Phloem transport the prepared food from leaves to storage organ and from storage organ to growing ring. Hence, material can move in both the direction. There is a bi-directional movement in the. Now you can understand the difference in xylem and phloem. Xylem conduct water, phloem food. Conduction in unidirectional, bidirectional. Only xylem parenchyma. Xylem is a dead tissue, phloem is a living tissue. Only xylem parenchyma is living. All elements are living. Xylem conduct and give mechanical strength. Phloem conduct and give no mechanical strength. Then you can understand some name the vascular tissue present in the plants and state their functions. What are the difference between vessels and tracheae? How simple permanent tissue are different from complex permanent tissue? These you can understand well.